Olson sits on the cusp of history. First pitch here is hit high and deep to left. Andrew Jones has company at the top of the mountain. 51 for Matt Olson. Records are made to be broken, and Andrews could be flipped tonight. Matt Olson and the Braves have a magic number of 2 with 2 big storylines on deck. Atlanta will let it fly in pursuit of history. And another clinch celebration next on Bally Sports. Braves baseball on Bally Sports is presented by Truist. Another pleasant night here in Philadelphia, and it could be a special night in Philadelphia. Final game of this series, and with the win, the Braves will clinch another NL East title. Brandon Gaudin, John Smoltz, back with you from the broadcast booth. And John, we know that it has been a foregone conclusion for a while that the Braves were going to win the division. But I would imagine for those players, and you went through this a lot, you come to the ballpark today with a chance to clinch, it probably feels a little different.
There's nothing better knowing that a win and you're in, right? And I think the big thing for even a starting pitcher to try to set the tempo so that you can create a winning moment, and then the celebration comes. Nobody wants to kind of celebrate on a loss, so you know what's before you. Players have a little extra adrenaline. It's inevitable, but you also want to get it out of the way and then make your next quest, and that's working towards best record in all of baseball.
And for Matt Olson, he's on a quest of his own personally, trying to set the Braves' single-season record for homers. He's already tied it, 51 of them. He's been so good, obviously, throughout the season. Here at Citizens Bank Park, he's been incredibly good.
This is ridiculous. I mean, they're not booing him. They're booing Acuna, but they should start booing him because look at the numbers. Less than 20 games, 18 games, he's got 11 home runs and 17 hits. He can go to any part of the ballpark in anywhere in baseball, but here it really suits him. The batter's eye, everything about his swing right now. You know, as a player, when you're in this mode, you want it to last forever. And you want to keep going to the end of the season and then pick up in the postseason.
We'll see if Matt can get number 52 tonight. We'll see if the Braves can clinch the division tonight. Spencer Strider is on the mound. He is well rested, a week's worth of rest, and ready to go. And Kelly Kroll will talk to him when we get back. Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Georgia Power and by Yellowwood. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it.
We welcome you back to Philly for the finale between the Braves and Phillies here this evening, and Snit's Club with an opportunity to clinch their 6th straight division title here this evening, and they have to feel pretty good about their chances as they send Spencer Strider to the mound, and he has been very dominant against the Phillies. 6-0, a 1.62 ERA in his regular season starts against these guys. He's also been extremely good against the NL East, and we're going to show you just how good in La Legionera high standards. Check it out, 7-0, a 3.14 ERA, over 13 strikeouts a game, and as you can imagine, Spencer Strider, with just a few starts remaining, has some things he wants to work on down the stretch, and I asked him what those were.
Execution, try to be in the strike zone, sequencing and observing hitters, the same type of stuff that we would always do and always focus on. You imagine guys are going to make adjustments at bat to at bat in the postseason, and first, second time through the lineup, you got to be able to get guys out, and preserving the bullpen is going to be important, or at least putting them in situations where we're getting the most out of them. Okay. In a condensed series like that. So, just getting guys out and kind of the same focus as always. It's being in the strike zone, trying to make the most out of every pitch. When you feel really good, when you have good stuff, when guys are struggling to pick up what you're throwing, it's easier to sort of waste pitches, and you can kind of get around it a couple different ways. But I think when you're struggling to beat guys, or when guys are on your stuff, each pitch is that much more important. And so falling behind, losing mid counts, that kind of stuff, pitches with runners on base, those are that much more important. And so I think it's sort of being a little bit more purposeful and focused in those moments, and trying to make sure that each pitch is doing what it's supposed to.
So keep an eye on all of that. Strider working with an extra day of rest as well after battling that stomach bug a little bit, but told me he is 100% and fired up to be on the mound here tonight, hoping to rebound against the Phillies. It's a division title in enemy territory on the line tonight. Sure to be another good one between the Braves and Phillies coming your way here on Bally Sports.
He has been on fire.
That ball is gone, and that ball is out of here.
Deep, far, and gone.
Matt Olson with a titanic shot. That ball is long gone.
Off the bat of Matt Olson, that is gone.
Over the chop house.
Wow, what a big blast off the bat of Matt Olson.
This one is not coming back. Grand slam, Matt Olson. That ball is tattooed and out of here off the bat of Matt Olson.
Olson's team-leading 22nd home run.
That baby is gone.
25th of the year for Olson.
It's gone. Olson's done it again. Olson, bye-bye.
That's his 29th home run of the year.
Gone. Grand slam. And it's gone. Matt Olson to the chop house. Get going, ball. The Braves take the lead. High and deep. And wave goodbye to it, folks.
Olson connects for the 38th time.
And Olson got all of that one. Whoa.
Matt Olson, his 40th.
That ball is crushed. Matt Olson head down, and he will trot around them all. And he sends it out of here.
That is going to leave the yard.
That was an absolute tank. 46 for Matt Olson. In the air. Deep to right center. He's 3 away from Andrew Jones. Goodbye, baseball.
His 49th of the year.
This one to left field. There's number 50. Andrew Jones has company at the top of the mountain. 51 for Matt Olson. And tonight, a couple of things to watch. Matt Olson trying to break Andrew Jones's record. He will do it with one more homer and be on top of the all-time Braves single-season list. And, of course, the Braves have the magic number of 2. And a win here tonight in Philadelphia clinches the National League East for a 6th consecutive season. And it would be a 23rd division title overall for the Braves, which would be the most in Major League history. So a lot to watch tonight, John. An exciting night here at Citizens Bank Park.
It sure is. We will not be bored. There are a lot of things going on within this game and a lot of people with interest. So, you know, the one thing with so many things going on, Acuna's 4 hits away from 200. With all his greatness, 200-plus hits is going to be pretty. He's making a chase to catch the batting title.
Yeah.
I don't think he can, but it's closer than it was before.
And it's a fantastic year he's having. Look at the OPS. He will lead off the lineup presented by your local Toyota dealer. Ronald at the top. Kevin Pillar will get the start out in left with a lefty on the mound. He will go out to left in place of Eddie Rosario for Brian Snitker and company. And on the mound, it is Christopher Sanchez, guy that coming out of spring training they hoped would be the 5th starter. Ultimately went down to AAA for a little while. Came back up in June. He's had a pretty nice season.
He has. He likes to get the ball on the ground. He'll use his changeup. And, you know, he's sneaky. So that's the one thing. You never know what's going to trip up a great offense. Well, a guy that can get the hitters to hit the ball on the ground, that's a good formula and a good start for a team that likes to hit it out of the yard.
Well, that leads us perfectly into our forward keys to the game.
Yeah, let it fly, right? I mean, get the ball in the air, gap to gap. Let your bats keep doing the thing that has made this year special. Keep it off the ground. And then first pitch damage. That's really the only thing that kind of gets Strider, is he's such a fastball-heavy pitcher that first pitch, the league has done extremely well when they put that ball in play.
Another very nice night here in Philadelphia. Had some rain overnight, but since early this morning, the clouds cleared, the sun came out, and it's a pleasant evening to finish off this 4-game series here between the Braves and Phillies.
The wind is going to have its play tonight. It's blowing out to right, and it's a pretty brisk wind, so watch for that to be part of the game tonight.
Ronald Acuna all over the first pitch. Hits a frozen rope, but Marsh is able to reel it in out in left. Well, he does not get cheated too often, Ronald Acuna.
He doesn't, and he went up there to do that damage and let it fly, and unfortunately, right at the left field.
So one away. Now Sanchez will face Ozzie Albies.
I think Albies is going to have a really good game tonight. That's my prediction.
First pitch he sees. He laces into the gap. Ozzie loses the helmet as he cruises into second base with a double. Well, good call, partner.
Is he wearing an earpiece by any chance?
Well, you predicted Ozuna's homer about 2 seconds before it happened last night.
Well, Albies has just been getting a little bit some tough luck. Left-hander. He's got some hits in this series, but not what you would expect. And right-handed, he's got a pretty swing both sides, but right-handed he can do some damage.
He is hitting .383 against left-handed pitching this year. That's the best in Major League Baseball, and he added to it there.
3 for 3. 3 pitches, 3 swings. So the game plan's pretty simple. Get one up in the zone that you can drive and keep it off the ground. And try to not swing at that changeup.
There's the first take of the game, and it is outside to Austin Riley, 1-1. So Christopher Sanchez, as I said, he began the year with an injury. He was a candidate for the 5th spot in the rotation out of spring training, but ultimately started the year in AAA. And they called him up. And since being called up, the numbers have been hit and miss. He's had some good starts. He's had some not so good starts. Got to remember, though, this guy's pretty young, 26 years of age. This is just his 37th Major League appearance. Austin Riley gets into the 1-2 pitch to center field, and you can wave goodbye to that thing. My goodness. That was scorched off the bat of Austin Riley, and Atlanta quickly jumps out in front 2-0. 4:47.
You sure they can't hear the keys to the game? There's nothing in the dugout that, I mean, let it fly. They're letting it fly. Got the ball up in the zone and talked about the wind going out to right field. Well, nothing was going to stop this one.
Let it fly indeed. And the Braves making an early statement here against Christopher Sanchez and the Phillies. I can tell you that the people up on that little concourse there in center field, they did not come here expecting a baseball to fly their way.
And I wouldn't think they'd have to pay attention to that part. They could carry on a conversation. Hey, look out!
Like us last night up here. 1-2 now to Matt Olson.
I guarantee you this: if we get a foul ball up here, the first thing I'm doing is shutting your computer.
That'd be nice. You do that.
I'll
I'll sprint to the left, and then you duck under the table. Well, Matt Olson goes down swinging for the second out.
Well, you can imagine Sanchez has been awfully tough on left-handers to a 145 batting average. Right-handers at 250, and when he's ahead and 2 strikes, he's been virtually hard to hit.
But the Braves handing he and the Phillies an early 2-0 hole. Atlanta now this year has scored 132 runs in the first inning. That is a franchise record. So many records falling this year for the Braves. Ozuna, the 0-2 pitch is hit out to right center, but Castellanos tracks it down and sends us to the bottom of the first. But Austin Riley with a 2-run bomb to straightaway center field, and Atlanta has the early lead. Homer by Riley before Philadelphia can even bring this lineup to the dish, presented by your local Toyota dealer. Similar to yesterday, except Rob Thompson will have Stubbs back in at catcher to give JT Realmuto the evening off. And on the mound for Atlanta, Spencer Strider.
Yeah, there's so many MLB best categories he's in that just mind-boggling when you think about what he's done. Throws a lot of fastballs in the zone, gets a lot of swings and misses. They don't hit his slider. But the one thing to be watching for is that first pitch damage and first pitch aggressive hitting Philadelphia team.
Second pitch misses as well. So 2-0 here to Schwarber. Kelly reported on it, but he had a stomach bug, same one that Austin Riley had. Says he's back to 100%. So he was supposed to start here on Monday, but because of the bug, they pushed him back. Couple extra days of rest, and now he starts on Wednesday.
Well, the Phillies can't be happy about that because now that means they face him twice. And where did I see he was 6-0 against the Phillies?
6-0 in the regular season.
So that a bad break on their part.
There's a strike to make the count 3-2. Yeah, 6 career appearances against Phillies so far for Spencer Strider. 6-0 with a 1.62 ERA.
And the hottest guy on their team, which is on deck, is 0 for 9 against Strider.
That's Trey Turner. Downstairs, so a leadoff walk.
See, I get it. I understand why he threw a 3-2 slider, but that's pitching away from the lead in a situation where, again, the worst thing that could happen is a solo home run, right? I understand it. He was going for the strikeout, but his fastball is good enough too to get an out with it.
And now here is Trey Turner, throws him a fastball high. Turner 11 homers in his last 13 games. He has a 23-game on-base streak.
You can get addicted to certain stats, right? It becomes and defines who you are sometimes. And when you don't strike out 13 a game, they're asking you about it. You know, it's the world we live in. And so hunting out still has to be the #1 priority. And when you learn when to utilize your stuff to go for the punch out versus the outs, cut down your pitches, these are all maturation things that are going to happen that make him that much better as he gets into this league a few years.
Almost had his first strikeout there, but Turner gets a piece. Of course, he's chasing your record, John. Strider at 250 strikeouts, Braves single season record, 276 by you back in '96.
Yeah, and if it doesn't fall this year, it's going to fall next year. I mean, he's going to strike out 300. He just doesn't have the innings. And when he gets built up to get those kind of innings, he's going to chase other numbers that are going to be ridiculous. You know, Randy Johnson numbers, Nolan Ryan numbers.
Leads the majors by a wide margin in strikeouts. But right now, Trey Turner is battling.
So here's the things that I knew, and of course a totally different era, is I was going to have a lot of foul balls. Just like he's going to have a lot of foul balls. Guys, he's a fastball pitcher, and the hitters are just going to miss it, and they're going to look like they're on it and spoil it. It's not the case.
This one put in play, but Acuna hardly had to move. 1 out.
But what he's going to learn is a well-spotted fastball early in the count is going to get you an out. Versus up in the zone, swing and a miss, feels good, but you need 3 of those, 4 of those, 5 of those to get a strikeout, and the pitch count goes way up. So come postseason, all bets are off. You do that, you miss bats, and that's great.
So over the course of his career, as he matures, you're saying he should be willing to sacrifice some of those strikeouts for a lower pitch counting, quicker outings.
Well, and he may still get those strikeouts. What I'm saying is if he learns where's the sweet spot on the plate for him besides right down the middle. Is it arm side, away to a righty? Arm side into a righty, or glove side away to a righty. He has to have a place he goes to at will when he wants to, rather than what I read, throws more strikes, more balls in the zone than any other pitcher, and gets more swings and misses than any other pitcher. See, that's a luxury when everything's going good. But what happens when it's not? And then where do you go from there?
Facing a tough customer here in Bryce Harper, who fouls it away 1-2.
I give you an example. If he pitched in Oakland, his fastball percentage should go way up. Foul territory is huge.
Yeah.
Going to get more outs. Got to hit the ball farther in the outfield. So parks that are bigger, fastball, pitching in Wrigley, wind blowing in, a lot of fastballs.
This a hitter's park here, and as John said, the wind blowing out tonight to right field, so you have to be particularly careful with guys like Bryce Harper.
So on those days is when you sacrifice strikeouts. That's when you say, okay, they can't take me yard. They're not going to hit me all over the park.
2-2, fouled away. Harper in this series, 4 hits, 2 of them homers, and he's walked 5 times. And there's another foul ball.
All right, so 19 pitches already, 2-0 lead, 1 out. He'll be lucky to get out of this inning without 27, 28 pitches, right? Hopefully he does. That adds up. That lessens a 7-inning game down to 6, trending to 5.
And pitch number 20 is down and in, and the count is full.
But what baseball tells all these young pitchers is don't worry about that. If it's 4 great innings you can give us, just give us 4. We'll cover the rest. Well, that, again, is all well and good until you need 7 innings and you need that postseason shutdown. And so that's going to be the battle that, he'll learn to win more times than not.
Here's the payoff pitch to Harper. Runner goes. And Schwarber will have to return to first. And the at-bat continues.
You know what I forgot? My ice cream.
Your ice cream.
It's melted now.
Well, you got halfway through, right? You had 3 scoops in that cup.
4. I couldn't slow him down. He's just going in.
There's a legend here that scoops the ice cream. Runner goes again. It won't matter. It's a walk inside on a 3-2 pitch. So 2 walks through the first 3 hitters. And a quick visit from Sean Murphy. The legend that scoops the ice cream here, though, is known as 2 Scoop Frank. I think he's been here since Philadelphia was founded. And he sits in there with 6 different flavors every night.
And you don't want to have a forearm competition.
No, no. It's like when you have a bartender who's a heavy pourer. Frank's a heavy dipper. And he gave John 4 scoops of peppermint ice cream tonight.
I think we had like 5 conversations while he was sticking the scoops in this drink cup.
Alec Boehm is the hitter here. Now, the thing about Strider and him giving length tonight is that both bullpens are taxed, and several guys for Atlanta are down. Now, they did call up Jared Schuster today in case they needed a few innings out of the pen.
Well, like I said, at this rate, it won't be a 7-inning game. So 24 pitches, only 6 double plays on the year. I wasn't a double play guy. Like, I would have loved to have had some double plays, but I was a fly ball guy.
Well, there's a ground ball, but it's foul. 1-2. It has been a high-stress series. That's why the bullpens have been used heavily. 2 extra inning games as well. Atlanta winning 10-8. Phillies winning 7-5. That was during the doubleheader on Monday. And then yesterday, Atlanta holding on for a 7-6 10-inning win. Strider's 1-2. He struck him out. There's the first strikeout tonight for Spencer.
That one had great tilt. I mean, when someone swings at a pitch that far outside, that tells you out of his hand, they were convinced that was going to be a strike.
So Bohm sits down, 2 on, 2 out, and now Bryson Stott takes a strike at the top of the zone. Stott 2 for 11 in the series. One of those hits, though, homers. And 0-2.
I wonder what the record for the most 3 true outcome at bats is. I think Schwarber's got a chance. I mean, everyone yesterday was. I can't remember the day before the last at bats. This one was.
It's amazing. 54% of his at bats are the 3 true outcomes: a walk, a strikeout, or a homer for Schwarber, which is just a staggering number. And we said it the other day. He's right there. He's 45 singles and 43 homers.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, he started this series with 3 singles.
And he struck out 7 times in the series as well. Strider going for a strikeout here, a Stott, but he's able to foul it back.
The third pitch that I think will keep getting better and better is a changeup. He doesn't throw it a lot, but when he starts throwing it, going to have some batters really upset.
Line drive, and that will go into right center field for a single and get Philadelphia on the board. It's 2-1.
Threw a slider in that sweet spot of the left-handed hitter, and Stott has been sweet all year for Philadelphia. And he was able to get a base hit and score. Schwarber with 2 outs, it helps to get him going. He's not the most fleet of foot. Get on first. They get those Baker, those kind of like Baker oven mitts.
The oven mitts. Yeah. This has been the tale of the series, John. Every time one team gets a lead, the other team seems to claw right back.
Yeah, and I'm not cherry picking here, but it started with the 3-2 slider to Schwarber and going for the strikeout. Right? You don't. No big deal. All right, just an innocent walk. But now we're at 33 pitches, and trying to still exit the inning with the lead, but it's a lot of pitches in the first inning.
Brandon Marsh awaits a 1-1 and swings through the fastball. 1-2. He has struck out 7 times in this series. The Phillies have struck out 41 times compared to the Braves, just 23 strikeouts for Atlanta hitters. Spencer Strider trying to keep Atlanta in front. And he will do it with a beautiful 2-2 pitch on the outside corner to retire Brandon Marsh and the Phillies. 2-1 after 1 here in Philadelphia. On to the second inning. Let's look at our stats with Lowe's. The Braves against left-handed pitching this year have been incredibly successful. Look at left-handed starters. They rank #1 in Major League Baseball in all of these categories.
Yeah, I think there's some sore shoulders coming up if you're left-handed coming into looking at the schedule. Like,
I'm not sure I can go today, Skip.
I might need an extra day.
But Christopher Sanchez gets the call today against these Braves and gives up the 2-run homer in the first inning.
Again, I call it the Colorado effect. You know, you look at your schedule and a starting pitcher and back in the day and you're like, oh, I got Colorado. Okay, all right, let's just get through it. And in '96, I'm having my dream year. And I just got to get through Colorado late August. And I'm good. 9 runs. I lose 9-8. And the ERA goes.
You should have come up with a Rocky Mountain flu.
No, I can't do that. But you just, you're looking at it long term. You're like, rain out, maybe? Pushes me back.
Well, Sanchez sure was greeted rudely in that first inning by Acuna, Albies, and Riley. All 3 of them had an exit velocity off the bat of at least 105 miles an hour. Now there's a good start to the second inning for him as he freezes Orlando Arcia.
You can see the potential in this young man. Sneaky, wiry, kind of like, doesn't really sling it, but when he's got that changeup working, he's got good sinking movement, and then obviously very, very tough on left-handed hitters.
He was signed way back in 2013 as a 16-year-old out of the Dominican. Signed with Tampa Bay as an international free agent. The Phillies acquired him after the 2019 season, and then he debuted in 2021. And there's a strike to Sean Murphy.
To see, that's just simple. And if he can keep it simple and keep the ball in that area and then fade that changeup off of that, you can see why a lot of ground balls against him.
0-2. Sean chased but was able to get a piece.
And there it was. And that just goes to show you how far out he tried to go get that ball.
And Sean swings and misses. Another good changeup from Christopher Sanchez.
You know, when I speak of this stuff, I speak from experience of that I was not very good my first 3 years. And I had to learn this stuff. It's not something that you just walk into the league and you're born with. Spencer Strider is so far ahead of any one of us that's ever pitched in an Atlanta Brave uniform that's what's so exciting about it, right? It's not a nitpicking situation. It's, oh my gosh, this guy's so good. When he learns this, look out, right? And that's the beauty of our game. There's so many young pitchers, but they're not really given the length or opportunity to develop a second or third pitch, to have patience with a club. They want guys that just deal right away. They're not into like letting them learn in a 3 to 5 start range.
Kevin Pillar getting the start in left for Rosario, down 0-2. He's able to lay off there. Well, hopefully look, Spencer's numbers, as you said, it's been an unbelievable start to his career. It is scary to think if he can fine-tune and get even better, how good he can be.
You know, everyone looks at a guy like that and says, you know, he's Nolan Ryan-esque, like freakish. And good for him, too, because he totally retrofitted his body and career after getting hurt in Clemson. And now he's hopefully going to maximize all of that work, discipline, and structure. Hopefully it's a long one, you know.
And Pilar goes down swinging. It's the changeup again. A good inning. Sanchez strikes out the side. Good top of the second. Our Zaxby's indescribably good play tonight is that single season strikeout record for Atlanta. Strider now 24 away from John Smoltz.
Has been.
No.
That guy.
No. Don't you dare say that about him. Phil Niekro also in between with 262. He's 10 away from that. 2 strikeouts in the first inning for Spencer. And now he faces the bottom 3 in the Phillies order.
Yeah, when you told me, I for some reason I thought he had 270 going into this game, so that's why I said, oh, he's going to get it tonight. And then you let me know there's 26 behind. I went, oh, I don't think he's going to get it tonight.
0-2 pitch has popped up here, and Castellanos is retired. Yeah, we're waiting in the food line, and you said, I think Strider's going to break my record tonight. I was like, wow, a perfect game, 27 strikeouts. That'd be something. Well, we'll see how many starts he gets the rest of the year. I think that could be the deciding factor.
Well, if he got 3, he's easily going to break it. 2, he still could, but that would be 2 dynamic games.
Tonight, the Braves are focused on the clinch. 6th straight NL East title if they get the victory here tonight. Or will it be delayed until the trip down to Miami?
You know, everybody idolized Phil Niekro, and in 1996, what Bobby did was so incredible in the last game in Montreal. Or I mean, against, Montreal. I had 75 pitches, and that was it, because I was going to get ready for my first start in the postseason. And I was sitting on 23 wins, which was tied with Niekro. And
down the left field line, and well struck, but Pilar has it on the track.
I left the game in after 5 with a 1-0 lead, and I think Bobby used 6 pitchers the rest of the way to win that game. And you know, it's just kind of the manager that Bobby was. He didn't have to do that. It wasn't that important, but all I was trying to get ready is for the start. And I was torn because Phil Niekro is Atlanta Braves icon. And I just there was never a moment being around him that didn't make you smile. You didn't feel like the day had gotten brighter. And I remember him calling me and congratulate me, and I was like, man, you're Mr. Atlanta. You know, that's pretty cool. It was just a cool moment and a cool year to have things go right.
Bouncer that goes foul. Yeah, I would imagine for you that call from Phil Niekro has to be one of the most memorable phone calls you've had. No doubt.
I mean, that year the bullpen was 16 for 16 in my games that weren't a complete game. I mean, it's just when things are working and things are happening, obviously it's 1 in a million type year, because I never won 20. It wasn't like I'd flirt with 20 every year. Just that year everything came together.
Well, the bullpen has been good in Spencer Strider's starts. He has started 28 games this year. The Braves have won 22 of them.
Wow.
And Spencer has 16 wins, which is tied for the major league lead.
That's an impressive stat. 22-6.
Yep. And he was rolling along, racking up the wins until the last outing when he struggled against St. Louis. No struggle there with Rojas or the Phillies in the bottom of the second. Strider gets a 1-2-3 inning. The young rookie with a swing and a miss on the slider. Georgia Drive Chevy on the road feature. Braves over the last 17 road games, they've won 13 of them and scored over 7 runs a game.
They're pretty balanced in just about every way. Home, road splits.
Well, we discussed it last night, but Atlanta is 48-25 on the road, 47-25 at home. So it doesn't get much more balanced than that.
No.
Michael Harris, 5 hits, 2 homers in the series. But right now Sanchez is in a groove. He's retired 5 straight since the Austin Riley homer, and he struck out 4 of those batters.
He's in the slot. I mean, he's pounding the lower part of the strike zone and then dropping Mr. Nasty changeup on a left-hander.
That's 3 straight strikeouts on that changeup.
Yeah. I mean, he's looking at, after the aftershock of that first 3 batters hitting the ball super hard, he has limited only 1 contact since then.
Now back to the top of the order. Let's see if Ronald Acuna can change that, and he can, and he will. A single to disrupt Christopher Sanchez.
Well, he is not messing around. He went down and got it. Great extension.
So 1 on, 1 out, and Ozzie Albies, who doubled to the left center field gap back in the first inning, digs in. And Ozzie out to right field, gets it to bounce in front of Castellanos. Ronald gets into third, and Atlanta in business.
I was going to get really cocky and say that Ozzie was going to get 4 hits today.
Halfway there.
But I don't think, watch Castellanos. I don't know if he knows where the ball is. He looks in the glove. He's like, hey, I got it.
Look what I found. So Ozzie 2 for 2, and now Austin Riley, who hit the 447-foot homer to center field, is the batter. First pitch fouls it off. So 35 homers now for Austin, 3 off his career high of 38 that he had last season. And he hits this pretty well to center, but this time not enough to get it out. He will, however, drive in the run. He's driven in all 3, and Atlanta's back up 2.
It's just really good approach. Right center with a guy that has a changeup. Stay back and drive it. And an easy RBI.
Well, with what Matt and Ronald have been doing this year, it's easy to overlook some of the other guys at times, but Austin is having a fantastic season.
I mean, sometimes you can get an overinflated kind of like all-star representation. Not in this case. Just keep on trucking.
Yeah, the 8 selections for Atlanta was legit. Elder, Strider, the 2 pitchers, and then the 6 position players.
That pitch right there put Olsen in a tough spot. That was below the zone, called a strike. Now if he messes with anything down there, he's got to go after it.
Left field, that's where he hit his last 2 homers, but this one doesn't have enough juice. Atlanta, however, gets a run on the sac fly from Austin Riley. Atlanta trying to clinch the division tonight here in Philadelphia, and right now in the driver's seat 3-1. Brandon Gaud and John Smoltz up in the booth. Kelly Kroll downstairs. And Spencer Strider now faces the top of the Phillies order.
An inning like last inning, and he resets his pitch count. 33 went to 46. And if he gets another 13 or less, he's kind of gotten it back into that doable.
But he's got to deal with Schwarber, Turner, and Harper. Well, it is a tough lineup, and Brian Snitker said last night after the game, John, they asked him about, he said, look, Philadelphia scares me as much as any team in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Dodgers, Phillies. You look at those lineups and you're like, whew. But at the same time, not the Dodgers, but Phillies, if you make your pitches and you have that nasty night, you're going to strike out 12 of them. They're going to swing and miss more than the Braves are.
And as we've talked about, that's the big difference with Atlanta this year versus 2022. Ball's hit a ton, but foul.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, huge difference. And really, kind of ironically, when they won the World Series, a whole new slew of players came in and cut down some of those strikeouts too, because they were a high strikeout, if I remember correctly, but their team changed due to some injuries and adding some guys that got hot.
This one's skied. Austin Riley has his sights on it, and Schwarber's retired.
Well, that breaks that streak.
Of the 3 true outcomes.
Yeah.
It is something, though. Schwarber is, if you look at the Major League ranks, he struck out more than anybody in baseball. He's number 2 in baseball in walks and number 4 in homers. You just don't see that very often.
You don't. And you don't see that out of a leadoff hitter.
That's for sure.
Ever. Those numbers don't even make sense for a leadoff hitter.
Kevin Pillar had Turner played perfectly.
See, now I would say those kind of outs are more important sometimes than a strikeout, right? Because a strikeout could come in 7 pitches, 6 pitches. So he's got a chance. Like I said, you get Harper out in 3 pitches or less, boom, right back on the number to kind of pitch deeper into the game. Only I say that because we're so hypersensitive to numbers. Like, oh man, 100 pitches. He breaks at 101.
The last time, because he was lifted after 2 2/3 against St. Louis, he only threw 65 pitches. And now that he's got 2 extra days rest because of the stomach bug, the arm should be pretty fresh out there.
Yeah, and there's danger in that, and I'll explain. You know, we're closer to going to a 6-man rotation than we are to anything else because of just information and max effort velocity. You give a hard throwing guy 2 extra days, what do you think he's going to do? Throw harder. Yeah, because you feel better. But that doesn't translate into better success and feeling better after that. When you're in a once every 5-day rotation, you can't afford to do that every single time. So they think that spacing it out and giving guys more days rest is better, and I kind of disagree with that.
That time the changeup from Strider evens the count. Harper last night hit a homer for his 1,500th career hit. He's got a 3-2 count here.
Be cool to figure out. I'm sure we could, but his first hit, 500th hit, 1000th hit, 1500 hit. Wonder
what they were.
Yeah. I doubt his first hit was a homer, so kind of cross that one off.
1500th was.
Yeah.
This one's not going to be a hit. Sharp grounder to Ozzie. 7 in a row set down for Spencer Strider. Fourth inning, Marcell Ozuna leading off. He's our Xfinity game changer tonight. 13 games, last 13 against the Phillies. 5 homers and 10 runs driven in.
999 OPS.
And he's got to face Sanchez, who, John, has thrown 37 pitches, 33 strikes, just 4 balls. Well, there's a 5th ball. He threw two balls in the first, 2 in the second, now 1 here in the 4th.
Yeah, he's been in a good slot. I mean, the Braves have just kind of cherry-picked some pretty good pitches and smoked them, but other than that, he's doing what the numbers say he's done most of the year, and that's keep the ball out of the air.
That ball goes in the air and pretty well hit to right field, and it's off the wall. Oh, Marcell Ozuna got a late jump for second. But he's in there safely.
Wow. He closed some ground quick.
The Big Bear.
He did.
The Big Bear got in there. They're going to see if they want to take a look at it over in that Phillies dugout, but they do not.
Well, that was the area of the field that you can get some wind aided, and it looked like that ball was going to get caught, but then it had tremendous carry. And then right about here, we both thought, uh-oh. But what a good slide. He got the foot down as fast as he could.
So a leadoff double for Marcell, and now here's Orlando Arcia. Well, you said let it fly, and outside of the strikeouts, when the Braves have put the ball in play, they put it in the air.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they're going to get all the same scouting reports. They look at a lot of stuff that we look at, and certainly executing that might be not as easy as it seems. Like, I always wondered when the hitting meetings would go like, hey, make him get it up. Well, what does that mean? What if he doesn't get it up? But what it does say is you got to see the ball up to swing at it, because if he's got a good sinker and you don't see it up, that means it isn't going to stay on that plane. It's going to go below the strike zone, and that's the discipline they're talking about.
Orlando's swinging at the 2-0, and he chops it to Bone. Marcell stays at second.
It's like the same thing to say, stay back on the changeup. Yeah, right. Well, you're trying to get the fastball, and then the changeup comes. It's kind of hard to stay back.
Sanchez has had a lot of success with that changeup so far tonight, but the Braves still have 3 runs on 5 hits, all 3 runs driven in by Austin Riley. That one gets away from Stubbs, but not far enough.
What do you think of the new hockey masks? Like,
I don't know. I don't know that I've. Oh, you mean for catchers?
Yeah.
I thought you just meant for the game of hockey. I was like,
it's really changed, obviously, for all the.
I like it. I think the catchers love it. Obviously, it was built around safety. Ground ball, stopped by Turner. Nice play by the shortstop. Ozuna moves up 90 feet. Why do you not like them?
No, I think they're pretty cool. I just didn't know. I don't know if they're heavier or if it just affects, you know, catchers differently. I actually think they're cooler for a pitcher to throw to, meaning I used to use the mask as a target, then the knee pad's a target, and obviously the chest protector, different areas you're trying to throw the baseball to. Well, that mask looks pretty cool to throw to.
Pilar struck out back in the second. That's when Sanchez struck out the side. 2-0. Got to ask Glavin what he thinks of the hockey mask, though. You know, the former guy who got drafted in the NHL.
I thought that was a lot to do about nothing, and I got to give him credit. I understand he was pretty good. No, I knew he was pretty good. I just wanted to see it firsthand. I got to see it in the clubhouse. Slap shot. I put on the catching gear and pretended like I was a goalie. And he got it by me. Cat-like reflexes.
I wish there was videotape of that.
Oh, man. If we'd have had more technology back then, there'd be a video of a lot of stuff that would be pretty funny.
3-1 here to Pilar. And Pilar sends this down the right field line. It's fair by about a foot. Ozuna scores. RBI double on the belly flop slide from Kevin Pilar. 4-1 Atlanta.
Well, that RBI was solely because Ozuna got to second base in the first place, and this ball was perfectly placed.
This is the 35th start of the season tonight for Pilar. You'd be hard pressed to tell me there's another guy across Major League Baseball with less than 40 starts who's had more of an impact on a team than Kevin Pilar has for Atlanta.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, staying ready, patience. There's not a ton of left-handed pitching in the league. Defensively, he's a stud. So you know he's going to have a role if they want to replace Rosario late in defensive reasons.
And look at what he did the other day. In extra innings, he comes out there. He hasn't had it at bat in almost 2 weeks. Gets down 2 strikes and rips an RBI single up the middle. One to Harris. They'll appeal down, and he went 1-2. And a strikeout. Again, it's the changeup from Sanchez. Braves get a run. Hey, don't go anywhere. John Smoltz going to talk Cy Young when we get back. Brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Talking Cy Young candidates. Top 4 right now in the National League. Strider, Snell, Steele, Gallen. So that's where they sit record-wise, ERA, and a couple of other numbers. Now, John Smoltz is going to take you through his formula, what he looks at for the Cy Young.
Pretty simple. Take all the categories, rank them in their own 4-person categories. The lowest number should have the winner. If there's a tie, you add wins. I think wins matter. The world of analytics don't. So in that case, based on that, Strider would have the tiebreaker in wins. Obviously, this is an evolutionary. 2 more starts will change this. Wheeler was in the mix until last night. And so that's the simplistic way to just take the competitors that are in the conversation, group them together, rank them, and that's only 1 through 4. That's not taking their ranking, actual ranking in their categories league-wide.
And the lower number, it's like golf. The lower number there, the better.
Lower number means you're dominating more categories within your peer group. You know, if you went and did all the numbers that were league categorized, then Gallen would have the advantage over Strider because he's in lower numbers in those categories. But, you know, I've been doing it for the last 12 to 15 years and going back, and pretty much it does have a nice predictor for the Cy Young winner.
Well, he keeps lengthening his strikeout lead, now 4 tonight, 254 on the season.
Because here's what people will tell you, the counter argument is a strikeout is the same as an out. So why do you give that much importance to that category? Well, the categories that I still like, might call me old-fashioned: innings pitched, ERA, strikeouts, walks, hits to innings pitched, and batting average. I think when you're in those categories, you're in a dominant place, and it's hard to have a bad year when you're high up in those rankings. Now, there's been outliers. Guys have won Cy Youngs, and I don't like the trend, but to win a Cy Young with a bare minimum of 160 innings, man, that's tough, because it's easier to have a better year at 160 than 210.
But for Strider, coming in tonight with a 3.83 ERA, you still think he's very much in the mix because of all the other factors? I
do. That hurts him a little bit, right? I mean, you got guys with almost 1.4 runs better ERA. But my point is this: instead of being subjective, have some formula, have something to get you into a narrative to where if you want to use your eyes or use one statistic category, I don't care, pick out 5 analytical statistics that you think are important and do the same thing with that. To me, that's a better gauge of quantifying. Now, in the American League, Cole should run away with it based on that. But you got a tight race, and Gallen has had an incredible year along with Snell.
This ball is going to stay fair down the left field line. Brandon Marsh with a 2-out single. Yeah, Gallen has especially turned it on as of late. Had a great pitching performance last week for Arizona. But it's Strider and Snell right now that are tied with 16 wins across Major League Baseball. Or Steele, if I
Steele.
Yeah, Steele, not Snell.
That's what hurts Snell. And, you know, people are going to make the case, hey, you can't control wins. You can't control wins. Well, you're right if you only go 5 and 6 innings, because your impact to win that game is less, because then you're relying on so many more components to get you through it. And you cannot control run support. Totally get it. But it takes a freakish year to throw 210 innings and only get 9 wins, right? I mean, and that takes a freakish year. And he had one of those, or I should say DeGrom had one of those with the Mets. But you give me a guy that goes 17, 18, and 3 and tell me that doesn't matter?
It has to.
You've never played baseball. You're just computing sheets.
Yeah. It has to factor in. Castellanos awaiting a 1-1. And now it's 1-2.
Now, if you're 18 and 3 with a 4.8 ERA, okay, there's some validity there and run support and all that, but
when did you come up with that formula?
About 10 years ago. Was that?
Oh, so you've been working on that for a while.
Yeah, it was at MLB Network. And
runner breaks for second, doesn't matter. Castellanos falls victim of the Spencer Strider slider, and we are through 4 in Philadelphia. Now 5 strikeouts for number 99. On to the 5th. Ronald Acuna Jr. is our Georgia Natural Gas Greener Life Impact player tonight. Look at his last 45 games. 346, 39 driven in, 44 runs scored.
And by the way, you can do this with MVP candidates too.
Oh, the formula?
Thing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Well, he's near the top of the list in everything.
Yeah, I mean, again, I didn't agree with the narrative when you guys went to L.A. and somebody said that, you know, Mookie had overtaken him for MVP. I didn't see how. I know Mookie had that 2 weeks where he hit the 5 for 5 and went crazy, but.
Well, I think sometimes in sports we fall in love with a recency effect, and I think that's what happened. Mookie had an incredible August, but if you look at the entire body of work, it's hard to argue against Acuna.
Well, what I love is they both play the same kind of position in the batting order and in the outfield, right? And Mookie can play some infield, which is pretty incredible. And they both benefit from a really, really good team. So categorically, they're almost the same in just about everything but stolen bases.
That's where Ronald has a big lead, the major league lead, 65 stolen bases. Well, the first two at-bats between Acuna and Sanchez were quick. This one now on its fifth pitch, and it's a full count, 3-2. 61st pitch of the night for the lefty. Ooh, called strike on the inside corner. I think Ronald just hit his gum.
He smoked that too. This was a great pitch. I don't know if it ultimately caught the strike zone, but close enough. Locked him up.
He laced the gum for a double to the left center field gap, though.
All right, 3 for 3 coming up.
Double and a single so far for Ozzie. You're getting bold with these predictions.
Yeah, I just feel it. Feeling it.
He's down 0-2.
Oh, he's going to have to work a little bit now. Stay back.
You'll probably see that changeup, right?
He could speed him up again if he wanted to, but yeah, more than likely to change up.
Reaches for it. Nice play by Bohm.
Oh,
well, he just robbed Ozzie of that third hit.
Really? What a great play by Bohm. What a great play. That was 3 for 3. I was writing it down.
We'll give you partial credit.
He could still get 4 hits. It's only the
fifth. We're only in the 5th. This man has had a good night. 2-run homer and an RBI sac fly. He's driven in 3 of the 4 for Atlanta. And another hit for Austin. And another scorched baseball off of his bat.
This is just really good. Stay up the middle. Barrel it up.
And now the record watch continues. 51 homers for Olsen.
This kid hasn't made a mistake against him yet.
Shallow center. And he's got Olsen at 0 for 3 tonight. We are halfway home. Braves baseball on Bally Sports is presented by Truist. 4-1 Atlanta back at Citizens Bank Park, which sits on the Delaware River, separating Pennsylvania from New Jersey. 4-game set, squeezed into 3 days, the doubleheader Monday. And now a game yesterday and today. The Braves have won 2 of the first 3. With a win tonight, Atlanta clinches the National League East. Strider sitting at 75 pitches as he throws number 76 to start the bottom of the 5th.
You know what else needs to change?
Go ahead, caller.
Brian Snitker better win Manager of the Year. And I'm tired of managers not being able to win Manager of the Year when the people think you got a great team. But when you got a great team, you got to manage that great team to greatness. And last year, chased down the Mets, but didn't win Manager of the Year on the team that he chased down.
Yes.
So that voting needs to change, because that voting is purely about, well, the expectation of this team was X and he exceeded expectations, so therefore the manager should get Manager of the Year. I totally disagree.
Yeah. If this team had won 88, 89 games, okay, but they're on pace right now to win 107, 108. And the things they're doing, the way the pitching staff had to be cobbled together.
That's the point, though.
The bullpen as well.
Right. Nobody in their right mind could think that the Braves are going to win over 100 games if you said you're going to lose your two studs for 2 to 3 months of the year. Nobody. So that's got to factor in. You bringing in these young pitchers. You're using 16 starters. You're manipulating the bullpen. I mean, to me, that's a flawed voting system that has no real criteria. It's just subjective. And that's my opinion. I don't have a vote.
I don't either, but you are preaching to the choir. Just been, yes, the guys on the field have been tremendous, but the leader has been tremendous as well, and he deserves some recognition for that.
And that's not to take anything away from what Ross has done in Chicago. But again, that's going to be only because no expectations. That wasn't supposed to be a playoff team.
0-2 pitch here to Rojas. Hit out to Kevin Pillar, and there are two away. Boy, Strider has settled in, and he's gotten some quicker outs.
He's getting outs. That's exactly right. And that is going to be more beneficial in a game where you've got the lead and you're not wasting resources. If this was a 2-1 game, all bets are off on that area where you just don't lay it in there and let him hit it.
Remember, he had 33 pitches in the first inning alone, but now he's at 83.
He'd be about 8 to 9 pitches behind the ideal desired 15 pitches per inning. And again, that was a suggestion 100 years ago to pitchers and how they can be more economical. Not that was when you were going to fall off the mound or get hurt. Or we've taken that number and made it the golden rule. It's not. That's not what it was there for.
Well, Strider, quick work of Schwarber, 3-pitch strikeout and a 3-batter inning. The 6th, and we look at our Yellowwood bringing the lumber feature. Atlanta has 1 home run tonight, and they keep climbing towards that 307 home run season by the Twins back in 2019. They are on pace to eclipse it by about 5. Now, this guy has certainly helped the cause this year, Marcelo Ozuna. 34 homers for the Big Bear.
All right, Riley's got 35, right?
Yes. Marcel's got 34.
We got Olsen already way past.
He's got 51. The one that's Ozzy's got 29.
Where's Acuna?
Acuna's at 36.
So we got
37.
So this next one here puts them at 4 guys with 35 or more.
Yes.
And they just need 1 more. All-time record is what I believe.
Well, you'd certainly have to think Marcel's going to get that with a couple weeks left in the season. The question would be, could Ozzy get hot and hit 6 more? You got to think with Ozzie, he had the hamstring injury, missed 12 games, and they've also been giving him intermittent days of rest as of late, too. Down goes Ozuna. Sanchez has tied his season high with 8 strikeouts. Get a quick message in here from Zaxby's.
Warning: Zaxby's Southwest Salad is not for the faint of flavor.
Arcia grounds it toward the middle, but Turner cuts it off. 2 away.
Boy, we've seen Turner play outstanding shortstop in this series and really been everywhere and made every play and been hot at the plate. He even broke through. Nope, still hasn't broke through against Strider. 0 for 11 now.
And a couple of flyouts tonight for Turner, but he has really turned it on at the right time for Philadelphia, who is 3.5 games up in the wild card spot right now, the top wild card spot. Liner off the bat of Murphy, but Stott has it, and it's a quick top of the 6th for Sanchez. Fans vote Matt Olson for the 2023 Roberto Clemente Award presented by Capital One, recognizing players who best represent the game through positive contributions both on and off the field. Vote today. MLBtogether.com/Clemente21. Spencer Strider back out there. He will be facing Turner, Harper, and Bohm. 2, 3, 4. "14 strikeouts between the 2 starting pitchers."
Yeah, and you'd never guess the other guy would have more than Strider. That would be like a 50-1 scenario.
Yeah. Sanchez came in with 73 Ks in 80 innings, but tonight career high 8 strikeouts. All 3 times tonight Trey Turner has flown out. And for one of the hottest hitters in baseball, for Strider to hold him to 0 for 3 so far, pretty good.
See, I'd love to see Strider right here challenge Harper 3 times above the zone in the strike zone, upper part of the strike zone.
Is that based on what you've seen in the couple at bats so far, or on Harper's strengths and weaknesses?
Really, on Harper's strengths and weaknesses. I mean, you're doing him a favor. I mean, he didn't pull the trigger there, but you're doing him a favor down in the zone. He has not been showing he can handle velocity above the zone, top of the zone. And really, no pitcher has done that in this series. So they have a different scouting report and a different game plan that they have been trying to execute. But when they've gotten beat, it's been down in the zone.
Well, swinging bunt. It goes just left of the bag for a foul ball. Well, now he's got him 2-2. For a second, I thought this was going to bounce off the bag.
Yeah.
Strider knew it. Well, Bryce Harper coming back from the injury. Earlier in the year, he didn't have much power. He was hitting for average, but not his usual home run numbers. But he has 10 now in the last 25 games, so that power is coming around. Did he go? Yes, he did. Strider able to get him with a slider down for the 2nd out.
The tilt to that breaking ball is perfect because the way that he throws, it's not like he puts his fastball, but he's not straight over the top. He kind of comes in, long stride, and the fastball gets on the hitter.
Ooh, that one gets by Austin Riley. So Bohm had struck out twice tonight. Now he's 1 for 3 with a single.
And I'm telling you, this guy's turning into a really good breaking ball hitter. And that, he almost went up there looking for a breaking ball because that was down and he smoked it. That one quite didn't have the finish. It was good, but it didn't have that depth to it where guys on the average on the league, like I said, nobody swings and misses more at sliders than against Strider. It's unbelievable. 57% miss rate. Think about that. That's best in baseball. So you throw 100 sliders and they're swinging and missing at 57 of them. And that's out of respect for that fastball because they cannot handle both.
And then when he's effective with that changeup, you throw that in as a third pitch. Good luck.
And right now, it's just he's going to have a hard time understanding when to throw that, right? If a guy can't catch up to his fastball, I don't know if throwing a changeup works. It works in a behind the count. It works when a guy just pulls his fastball. It's a deception. It should be like for Glavine, everyone talks about how great his changeup was. It really wasn't a swing and miss changeup. It was an action ball. Put it in play. That's what he got outs on it. And that's what you want. A swing and miss changeup is kind of a really Bugs Bunny kind of screwball action or split finger.
2-1 is a shallow fly to left. Now Spencer Strider, 98 pitches through 6 innings, and he's only given up 1 run.
Double on the night, and he said after his last outing, do I wish I had more opportunities? Of course, you get more at bats, you can stay in the rhythm of the game, but in this role I'm pretty much subjected to what the starting pitching is doing. And guys, he made a joke. He said, I watch a lot of baseball and I know there are a lot more lefties out there than what I'm getting to see this season, but he goes, you can either quit working and pout, or you can make the most of your opportunities, and that's what he continues to do each and every time he does get in this lineup.
Well, that's exactly right. Remember, when spring training started, he was not guaranteed a spot on this roster. He battled for it. He was coming off an injury-riddled campaign last year with the Dodgers. Didn't know what his future was, but he's been such a valuable piece.
Adding him and Nicky Lopez. That bench is way underrated. Like the depth and the ability to mix and match, add speed, pinch run, defense. No one's going to want to go through this lineup in a best-of-7 series. Doesn't mean they can't. It's just they don't want to.
If the Braves are going to lose in the postseason, somebody's going to have to play really, really well to knock them out and pitch extremely well.
Yeah, and you know, play close games, winning late. The Braves are going to have to use every opportunity to expand leads late. Show no cushions. Don't make it to where you give teams a chance. Because that's the beauty of the postseason. They're going to be played close. It's rare that you run through and just kind of dominate like they have been in most of the regular season games. I say it all the time. Every facet of the baseball game gets so magnified in the postseason. And if you don't put the ball in play at the right time, if you don't make the defensive play at the right time or make that pitch, your chances of losing go way up. That's not the same in a regular season game because the attention to detail is not the same. The adrenaline, the crowd is not the same. At no point in this game will a crowd go crazy on a leadoff walk or a 2-out walk. At no point. You watch postseason, they go crazy. The pitcher on the mound thinks it's a rally. It's like it's just a walk or it's just a single. Those are the kind of differences.
And Michael Harris could not stop his bat. Boy, Christopher Sanchez, even though he's down 4-1 in this game, has shown some really good stuff. That is 10 strikeouts now.
I mean, I like him a lot. I haven't seen him pitch live, but maybe one other time. And he looks unbothered, looks calm, gave up the runs, no big deal. But he is in the slot, and a lot of good things could come out of this young man if he continues to progress.
Fans, stay tuned for the stretch. Fueled by Georgia Natural Gas. Coming up here after the top of the 7th inning. But the Braves got to Sanchez early. Austin Riley 3 batters in, a 2-run homer. And Atlanta's had the lead ever since. And Ronald Acuna, another multi-hit night. Let's take a look at who's been hot. Brought to you by Texas Pete. Talked about this earlier. It's Ozzie Albies this year against left-handed pitchers. Well, a lot to like. The batting average is #1 in Major League Baseball. Well, his 3rd hit of the night got robbed. You had predicted that.
Yeah.
You want to make a bold prediction here?
I don't know. It's an iffy situation. I would think Ronald's trying to look to steal. That might change the complexity of this at bat.
Ronald not taking off there, 0-2.
He's really been out front in that changeup.
Ronald goes now. And he steals it, and the throw goes into center field. So he will take 3rd as well. And Ronald Acuna now with 66 stolen bases on the season.
Tell you what, his acceleration after his first step was really, really good. I mean, it was a good jump, but not a great jump. He is just electric.
3 homers, 4 steals away from the almost unthinkable 40-70 season. 2-2 to Ozzie.
Are you old enough to know Nintendo Baseball Stars?
Oh, yes.
Greatest game in the history of technology.
Build your team.
That's who I built my team like.
Ronald.
I just fast. Everyone else tried to build it over power. I just frustrate the heck out of you by stealing first, second.
And now they're at the corners. Boy, I'm proud of you for that pull. Baseball Stars, I haven't talked about that game in probably 30 years.
Absolute favorite game in the world. I have this notebook I have right here for baseball. I had this notebook for Baseball Stars in the league that we had growing up in Michigan. Because you know we only get 2 months of weather, right? So you got to do something in the winter. And so my buddy and I would play, and we'd get a league. And the best part about the game is you get to make the team the way you want to make the team.
And you had a bunch of Ronald Acuñas.
Oh, man. Now, I didn't have the power that Ronald has with his speed, but I had speed. It was slap the other way, beat it out, steal second, steal third.
I had built a great team one time in Baseball Stars. And you know what used to happen on the old Nintendo cartridges? Sometimes the game would just stop.
Oh, was that the worst?
And I lost everything. Then you have to blow on the cartridge, get it back working again.
So you know, I do remember that part.
Oh, gosh.
I still have the cartridge, and it would take the time. I would go through the mock. I'd make the league so we could build up our team with the money, and then you would spend it. It took a while to build the league. It took a while.
And if that game restarted on you, it was not a happy day.
No.
Austin Riley with a chance to add to this Atlanta lead. Is there enough real estate in foul ground? Oh, what a play.
Wow.
Boy, Bryson Stott just made a spectacular catch and gets Philly out of a jam. 4-1, we head to the stretch. Pitches, but he is coming back out for the bottom of the 7th. Our StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud. 7 strikeouts tonight, 4 on the slider, 3 on the 4-seamer.
Yeah, I just think this is one of his better games, mainly because the first inning didn't go the way he wanted it to, and he battled his way back into a 6th inning and maybe 6+ innings in this outing in a clinch, you know, a fun clinch the division and check that next box. And he really stepped it up, I thought, in the next couple innings to get back into this fight.
Still a ways to go, and we've seen Philly fight to the end here so far in this series. But if Strider gets the win, it would be his 17th, and he would be atop Major League Baseball in that category. One and one here to Brandon Marsh.
And I'm glad he's back out there. He had 7 days off. He didn't throw a lot of pitches the day before, so he throws 113 pitches. You know what? But he's helped a bullpen that's kind of exhausted right now after this series and extending a couple extra inning games, a day-night doubleheader.
He's thrown 110 a couple of times this season.
But right here, again, I'd like to see him throw his fastball and see what Marsh can do with it. 2-2 pitch, go get him. Make him put it in play. Chances are he'll swing through it if it's at the top of the zone. Well,
Slider. So 8 strikeouts, 5 of them now on that slider for Strider.
Let me tell you something right now. In the postseason, they get 7 innings out of Strider, they're going to win the game. They get 7 innings out of Max Fried, they're going to win the game.
Line drive, and this will go for a single by Castellanos with 1 out in the 7th.
And then everything after that's icing on the cake with Charlie Morton and Bryce Elder. Bryce had an unbelievable year, by the way. Just such a great thing for him to build on. And then Charlie's Charlie, man. Been there, done that.
Yeah, Charlie's been a story of a veteran who has reinvented himself later in his career with great success. But for Bryce Elder, Stubbs skies this. That's a big second out for Spencer. For Elder, John, he goes out there, he throws strikes, he keeps the ball down, and he just trusts his defense, and the formula has worked the entire season.
Absolutely. Now it'll get a little tighter for him in the postseason, and it'll be interesting to see how they navigate that and how he does. But the reason I say 7 innings is so important, I mean, your percentage of chances of winning the game and shortening the game with elite pitchers like Strider and Max are huge. That's how you flex your muscles if you're the Atlanta Braves. If you give up teams other chances, you're asking everybody who comes in the game to be A+, and it doesn't always work that way. But I'll take my chances if Spencer Strider and Max Fried go 7 innings in a postseason game.
Strider trying to make it through 7 innings here. He's facing the 9th batter in the order, Rojas, and I guess, John, you'd have to figure either way this is his final hitter.
Yeah, and that would be great. And look at the adjustment he made after 36 pitches.
Yeah, because after that first inning, I looked at you and I said, if he gets through 5, that would be good for Atlanta.
Sure.
Well, he could do 2 better than that. Two-one pitch. 2-2. See if he can cap it off with a 9th strikeout. Now Rojas late again.
And Strider won't say this out loud, but he's a Mets fan tonight.
Oh, because of who he's going against for the Cy Young.
Going against Zach Gallen. The Mets have a 2-0 lead in the 5th inning.
Just hard for a Brave to say that,
It is hard. But in this case, you would understand it.
Another 2-2. He struck him out. 9 for number 99. A Cy Young type performance from Spencer Strider. He gets through 7 and he leaves with Atlanta on top 4-1. Well, Sanchez is going to stay out, at least for the start of the 8th inning. He has 10 strikeouts, and he faces Matt Olson, who's 0 for 3. Ground ball to Turner. Well, Matt Olson's been so hot that for Sanchez to get him out 4 straight times is quite an accomplishment.
Well, it was a tough matchup for all left-handed hitters, and mentioned about how he has neutralized left-handed hitters, and that's going to be it for him. But what a job he did holding the Braves to only 4 runs, right?
Yep. Gave up the 2-run homer in the 1st and a run in the 3rd and the 4th. But as I said, he struck out 10 and he leaves here in the 8th inning. Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by your local Ford dealer. By the All-South Highway Safety Team. Play it safe, slow down. And by Truist. When you start with care, you get a different kind of bank. Back in Philadelphia in the 8th inning, Braves up 4-1. Here's the Hall of Famer John Smoltz.
Yeah, Braves at Marlins Friday at 6 Eastern. Over on Bally Sports Southeast and Bally Sports app. Friday Night Showdown is presented by Kaiser Permanente.
See, if I knew you were that good, you'd be doing those the whole series.
I don't get to do that on Fox.
I know, you gotta enjoy that.
I love it, and I might oversell it every once in a while, but
the sponsors are in full support. Junior Marte is in. And Marcell Ozuna will be the batter. Mentioned how both bullpens have really been taxed in this series. There have been some high-stress ball games so far. 10-8, 7-5, 7-6. Those have been the final scores, and 2 of them have gone to 10 innings.
Thursday is going to be a very welcome day off for both clubs. The Braves hopefully will be coming off their clinching division.
Now 1 pitch, 1 out for Marte. Quick message here from Delta.
On behalf of our Atlanta-based crew, go Braves. Delta, official airline of the Atlanta Braves.
And then the Phillies will go to St. Louis, and then these 2 teams meet again early next week. And still a lot to be determined, but if the season ended right now, The Phillies would have that top wild card spot, which means that they would be the 4 seed, and if they would win that first series, then they would face up with the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah. You know they would like nothing more than to do that again, with all the pressure being on the Braves, and last year them knocking off the Atlanta Braves. Do you know what you're going to have to do after this game's over? You're going to have to do something like this. You're going to have to get out in a hurry. Exit stage left. Where did you go?
Look, I'm just happy that you also vacated the premises so that I didn't look so bad. We looked bad together. On to the bottom of the 8th. The Braves are 6 outs away. Xfinity 10G Network. The future starts now. By Georgia Natural Gas. Live the greener life. And by Visit Mississippi. Wanderers welcome. September 13th on a gorgeous night in Philadelphia, which could be clinch night for Atlanta. Our Xfinity game break. Speaking of the postseason, if things ended today, this is what it would look like.
Just focus on that bottom right. Because everything else is hard to do.
As I said, though, Philly would be the 4 seed. They would face the Cubs and a chance at a rematch for Atlanta. Well, I don't know. After all the drama the last couple of nights here, and I have a feeling we might be in store for a little more drama tonight. Hopefully not. But these Phillies have been fighting. Now Brad Hand is on after Strider went 7 and struck out 9. And the 0-1 from the lefty is down and away, a ball and a strike.
They've been tested emotionally. We showed the graphic. I think now they're 7-7 in extra inning games, and a lot of those games don't tell the story because they've had dramatic comebacks to tie the game, 1 hit away from winning the game, and then couldn't finish the deal in the extra innings. I mean, you kind of change your season when you win some of those games. You change the series that started out in this one, 2-out, 2-run homer by Harper. That is as clutch as it gets, and then ultimately you don't win that game.
Yeah, they've had a lot of those heartbreaking defeats. Meanwhile, speaking of clutch, Brad Hand was clutch last night. He came on there in the 10th inning and was fantastic for the Braves to preserve a 7-6 win.
Yeah, he was. He got a couple he got his big strikeout, prevented the tying run in extra innings. But let's not forget, the Phillies, after they tied the game in the 9th, had first and second, nobody out. And that huge double play.
Yeah, Castellanos bounced into the 5-4-3.
And that's when you know the seasons are going in particular ways, that the Braves just find ways to win.
And Atlanta trying to clinch the division here on September 13th. The earliest Atlanta's ever clinched was September 9th. That was back in the 2002 season. There's a strike, top of the zone. Schwarber goes down looking. Get a quick message in here from Texas Pete.
Texas Pete, sauce like you mean it.
Well, John, in this 4-game series, Atlanta pitchers have now struck out 50 Philly hitters.
Yeah, they've done a nice job. I mean, they've given up some runs, but they've gotten them to swing and miss a few times.
But those clinch dates I was talking about, if they do hang on and win tonight, this would be tied for the 2nd fastest that the Braves have ever clinched the division. They also clinched on this date in 1995. That was a special year because it was the first World Series championship. Strike on the inside corner, 2-1 to Turner.
We'll see, it can be done. Meaning you clinch early and everyone, oh yeah, the lull, the this, it can be done. Teams have done it, figure it out.
But what you said yesterday, what we talked about the top 2 seeds earning a break, though, after, that is big, and I think that is well deserved.
Yep.
And Atlanta and the Dodgers have put themselves in good position for that in the National League. 2-2. Struck him out. Brad Hand has been nailed so far here in Philadelphia.
He's got such late break to that breaking ball, and there are times he can just tell the hitter it's coming and there's nothing you're going to do about it.
So he gets 2 tough outs in Schwarber and Turner, and it doesn't get any easier here with Bryce Harper.
No. Hey, around the league, bad news for Texas. Max Scherzer out for the rest of the season as they're trying to punch a ticket to the postseason.
Now, the Rangers, they were going so good for so long, but they have scuffled here after the All-Star break.
But they've just looked like they're going to sweep the Toronto Blue Jays in Toronto, up 7-0. So it's been a crazy year for a lot of teams.
Could be a 1-2-3, bottom of the 8th for Brad Hand. Yes, what a job to get Schwarber, Turner, and Harper in order. On we go to the 9th. Time for our Ruling the Plate feature, brought to you by Burger King. Team home runs, Atlanta 282, the Dodgers 226. That means you could take away Matt Olson's 51 homers and the Braves would still have the most home runs in baseball.
Crazy. Crazy talk.
Crazy talk. 1 homer tonight by Austin Riley, and so far that and a couple of other RBI hits, that's all the Braves have needed. Dylan Covey is on here to try to keep it a 3-run game of the night. There's a strike at the knees to Sean Murphy. But Raisel Iglesias is down tonight, so you will not see him in the 9th inning.
Probably Johnson, right?
Yeah, I would think Pierce Johnson. Kirby Yates is also available, and he's the one that's up right now. And he's got a few saves this year and a lot of experience in that department. And Sean Murphy grounds it to Turner, who has had an unbelievable night at the shortstop position.
Wow, I mean, this is a clinic these 4 days. Almost the exact same play every time, too. He gets there, he slides. Watch how quick he gets up and throws. He knows Murphy's running, but he doesn't have much time. I mean, what a series he's had. I know for most of the year, don't always pay attention to some of those metrics, but they weren't kind to the Phillies and to Turner. But boy, he's at another level right now.
Yeah, there's a website that a lot of baseball folks rely on called the Fielding Bible, and they have team defensive runs saved. And for a large portion of the year, the Phillies have been at the bottom of the list, or near the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
But they have gotten better. 0-2 to Pilar.
And if you tell me that group had some ex-infielders involved, then I'd probably feel a little better about some of the metrics. But it's just so subjective in how some of it's put together that they may have the other stuff down pat. Defensive metrics are far from close to being locked in.
I think it's one of the hardest areas in baseball to pin down.
Yeah, because you got some people telling you where you should be playing, what ball you should be getting to.
No one's getting to that. Kevin Pillar with a one-out single. Here is a quick message now from our friends at Truist.
I never realized how important it will be to have you to reach the goal.
If I can make your business 1% better, I did something.
Well, Michael Harris has struck out all 3 times tonight. Those 3 at-bats were against the starter, Sanchez. Let's see if he has better luck against Covey.
If every game was played in the dome, then more things are neutral. No wind, reaction time. Like, there's so many elements in the game that involve the instincts of catching a fly ball with 20-mile-an-hour wind or 10-mile this and that, and infields that are not all the same. That's why you got to take it a little bit with a grain of salt. I mean, it's a good measuring stick, but I just don't. You notice they did away with catch probability.
Yes.
Thank God.
0-2 to Michael. Boy, it is rare that you see him strike out 3 times in a game, let alone 4. But that's where Harris is right now. 1 on, 2 out, and back to the top of the order. More boos for Ronald Acuna. Another hit for Ronald Acuna. Pillar's going to head for third. And the runners are at the corners here as the Braves search for some insurance in the top of the ninth. Some Braves fans countered with MVP chants, and now the Philly fans are trying to drown that out with more boos.
You got to feel like Harper's got to say, come on, man, it's not that easy. 2 great players over there that are prodigies, and one has developed into 2-time MVPs, and I think you're going to see a 1-time MVP and maybe even more in Acuna before it's all said and done.
Yep, I think there's going to be 3 MVPs between those 2 at the end of this season. That may not seem like a huge run over there at third base, but the way that Philadelphia has put pressure on the Atlanta bullpen late in games, that could be a big run. Oh, and 2 to Ozzie. Covey deals the 0-2 and misses low and away at 96 miles per hour. For Ronald Acuna, by the way, that is the 21st time this season he's had at least 3 hits in a game. That is the most by a Braves player since Ralph Garr had 28 3-hit games all the way back in 1974. 2-2. Boy, Stubbs had trouble finding it, but Ronald does not take second base. Stubbs shaken up after that. And this is the 146th game of the year. Ronald's played in all of them. He's only been held hitless in 34 games. Home plate umpire DJ Rayburn giving Garrett Stubbs a little extra time. And now we are ready for a 2-2 pitch with 2 on and 2 out here in the top of the 9th. And Ozzie got a piece.
I mean, at one point he was almost 65 points, although be it early, behind a rise. He's only 15.
Yeah, that gap has closed considerably.
I mean, he's got a chance to catch and win a batting title. I mean, Freddie Freeman's ahead of him at 339.
Grounder foul. Yeah, a rise for the first 6 weeks above 400, and then he slowly started to decline. Still an amazing year, but he is now below 350, as you said. And the Braves will see a rise in the Marlins starting Friday down in Miami. But right now, their eyes are firmly focused on finishing off Philadelphia. Harper's got it, and that ends the top of the 9th. The Braves are 3 outs away from another division title. Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By the Georgia Lottery. Today could be the day. And by Delta Airlines. Keep climbing. On to the bottom of the 9th. Atlanta is 3 outs away from a 6th consecutive division title. It would be the 23rd in franchise history. That's the most in Major League Baseball. And as I said earlier, it would be tied for the 2nd fastest that they have clinched the division. Well, you've been through this a lot, John, and I know that these players know at some point we're going to clinch, but what's the feeling like right now?
Well, first of all, they know they got to get 3 outs, so this is going to be a different celebration than normal. It's not going to be, I wouldn't think, like over the top, because they have so much more to accomplish, but it's special, man. You leave spring training and you want 3 things to happen. You want to get introduced in opening day. You want to get introduced in your next series. And then you want to get introduced in the World Series, right? You want to get 3 introductions. And so this is step 2 of getting the division under. You're in. You're going to be at home. And then you go for the ride, the wonderful ride.
The sometimes nerve-wracking ride. Kirby Yates is the man that has been summoned to get the final 3 outs. He faces the middle part of the order, starting with Alec Bohm.
Now, we talked about this last time. He did a great job throwing strikes with his fastball. When he doesn't throw strikes with his fastball, it takes his splitter out of play. So throwing strikes for Kirby Yates makes his splitter that much more difficult to hit.
Swinging at the 2-0 and popping it up. Ozzie calls off Orlando, 1 away.
See, that's the difference in the game today. You're down by 3. Guys missed with 2 straight pitches, and you're going to go to hitting that 2-0 rather than see if he might go 3-0 with a ball. So that's the difference. So guys are definitely looking to slug no matter what the count is.
Well, in that case, it worked out for Kirby, and now here's Bryson Stott.
I mean, it was a golden rule. Like, you're down by 3, you got to see a strike. You never know. Guy might be like, that's really technically.
There's a strike, 1-1. Last year in 2022, when the Braves obviously won their 5th consecutive NL East title, they were only in first place for 9 days the entire season. But they have ruled the roost the entire 2023 season. And they are about to be 1 out away. Michael's got it. They can smell it now. Brandon Marsh is the final hope for Philadelphia. And you think for Atlanta, who had their postseason hopes ended last year by the Phillies, it might feel a little extra sweeter to celebrate here tonight at Citizens Bank Park. 2-0. Swing and a miss.
First time we did it, I had my catcher jump in my arms and had to carry him in the middle of a pile.
Greg Olson. I still remember that video.
Man, I did not know what he was doing, but it quickly found out.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Atlanta is a single strike away now. They are ready at the top step of the dugout. Fouled off by Brandon Marsh.
The only thing you make sure in these things is don't anybody get hurt.
Yeah, be careful.
Don't do anything crazy now.
Celebrate responsibly.
Yeah.
Kirby Yates with a 2-2 pitch. Pop back and out of play. Atlanta, of course, won those 14 consecutive division titles from 91 to 05. And now trying to make it 6 straight here since 2018. Another 2-2. And another foul ball. Again, the 2-2 from number 2-2, Kirby Yates. Well, he's making him work. The champagne is ready. Here we go again. Struck him out. The Braves are the kings of the East yet again. 6 straight division crowns for Atlanta.
Great game by Strider. Bullpen finished it off. What a year it's been for the Atlanta Braves, and they deserve to enjoy this moment.
And Ronald Acuna here in the booze. He's saying bring it right now as the Braves celebrate yet another National League East title. They're 6 in a row. It's their 23rd overall, which is the most in Major League Baseball history.
And you know what? Of all the divisional titles, I mean, I don't know this factually. It just seems like the Braves had to use more players than ever to do this, right? I don't know what the final tally is going to be in the shares meeting and all the things, but 16 different starters, all kinds of bullpen. For the most part, the position players stayed and played, but the pitching staff, they have used a ton of pitchers to get to this historic point.
And you add it all up, it's already a 96-win season, and there's still 2.5 weeks to play.
Veteran coaching staff, and again, I'm going to echo Brian Snitker. What an incredible job. I know it's not over, but he better get a lot of votes for Manager of the Year.
He has been phenomenal. You can say all you want about the talent on the field, and there's a ton of it, but Brian Snitker deserves a ton of credit. So this is another step towards the ultimate goal of trying to get that third World Series title. But right now they just sit there and celebrate another NL East title.
There's no better feeling, obviously, to win and celebrate, but the best feeling is get an off day tomorrow. It really is huge. I don't know if that's ever happened in those years that we were doing it, because you got to go get your, play the next day on the normally. So this couldn't happen at a better time for the Atlanta Braves.
You think that's going to be a happy flight down to Miami?
Oh man, I think it's going to be a late flight for you guys.
Yes. But with the off day tomorrow, these guys don't care one bit. They've got the champagne on ice. They'll celebrate in the clubhouse. And then when all is said and done and the uniforms are dry, they'll get on the plane and head south. After the celebration, Brian Snitker will be joining Kelly Kroll down on the field. So we will hear his words shortly. But first, these guys get a chance to just go around, share a moment, share a hug with one another on a great accomplishment.
And that's what people at home don't understand. You spend all of spring training, you work your butt off to get to a position to have these moments. Not a lot of clubs get to experience this, and it is such a gratifying and at the same time no job not done yet. But it's a time and space where you can kind of pause and go, way to go, boys.
All right, let's go down to Kelly with Snit.
Thanks a lot, BG. Snit, 6 straight division titles. What's most memorable about the way you earned this one?
You know what? You said it right. You got to earn these things. They're all special. They're all really hard to do. I'm just so proud of these guys, how they stayed so consistent all year, and their work ethic. They never got into the highs and lows and the ups and downs. They just stayed. They kept an even course and just never stopped playing. And now they're going to be rewarded for it.
You led this division from start to finish. How hard? How hard? How impressive?
No, it is very impressive. What these young guys have done is really impressive as a team. The whole, because it takes every one of them. I mean, it takes everybody in that building that we have. The scouting, the player development did a great job, because we talk about depth and we use it all more than once. So, kudos to our player development and our scouting for, all Alex and all his staff, the hard work that they put in. All those young kids, the interns and everything up in that room, I say they bolt them to their computers and never let them out, and they work their tails off. And then we're appreciative of everybody in the building. That's because that's what it takes, is all of us.
They earned this too. I know at spring training this was the first goal to win the division. What is your message now to these guys when you toast them?
What? We've checked one box off. I mean, I said until you do this and get in there, you don't have a chance to do anything special. So that's really cool that we have a chance now to do something special.
Absolutely. Snit, enjoy it. Go celebrate. We appreciate it. Guys, back to you.
All right. Yes, step one is now down, and obviously Brian Snitker very elated.
Yeah, he said it all, and now he has the luxury. Again, he's guaranteed 1 or 2 seed, right? I don't think anybody would argue that one's more important than the other. But he has the luxury now to set up his team, his staff, his players who need rest or whatever. That is a big thing moving forward. And then I would anticipate, as this thing gets closer to the last 4 games, ramping everybody up to get ready for that next break. You don't want too many breaks now, but that next break's going to be very important to keep everybody fresh so that they start that journey in that tournament, because they have less games they have to win it all than everybody else exception of the Dodgers. So that's a good thing.
But this is the spot you want to be in. They would be the envy of any major league team to have the luxury of being able to now sit here in such a good spot going down toward the final couple of weeks of the season. I'll tell you this too, John. You come up here to Philadelphia, a team who needs to win games right now, and you take 3 of 4, and 3 of those games were close, 2 of them extra innings. Very impressive for Atlanta.
No, it really is in every facet. I mean, there was a game in hand that they could have lost, should have lost, they didn't. Another game where it looks like they got it wrapped up, could have lost, should have lost, they didn't. Those go into momentum categories, whereas Philly is tested every single time emotionally with them going the opposite way. And so I learned a long time ago, when things are going good, ride the emotion and the wave as long as you can.
Kelly is down there now with Matt Olson.
Yeah, thanks a lot, BG. Matt, it has been such a fun and memorable season. But what are you most proud of with this group as you stand here a division champ again?
You know, this is one of the boxes that we set out to check this year. You know, Snit said at the beginning of the year, won division last year and came up short at the end. So we checked this box here, and hopefully we check some more boxes along the way.
When you say that, does it make it a little sweeter to be celebrating here in Philadelphia tonight?
You know, no, we got a lot of respect for these guys. It's a good team. We've always had a lot of good battles, and they got us last year, but you know, hopefully that isn't the case this year. We're happy to get this division win and celebrate for a little bit, and then find a way to get back to work and get ready for the playoffs.
It's been a career best year for you, so how rewarding to have that with the success this team has had? It's
been great. You know, this team's been awesome. We have so much fun, and we do it while we're playing some high-level baseball, and you know, this year's been a blast. We got a lot of great guys in the clubhouse, and a lot of talent too.
You sure do. Matt, congratulations. We look forward to seeing you inside.
Yeah, thanks.
Guys.
All right, thanks so much, Kelly. Well, Matt Olson, he is the consummate professional. He will never make it about himself for the 51 homers, the 128 RBI. And you saw he gave credit to Philly. He just knows how to handle himself in every setting.
He sure does. And you know, when I think about this team too, they got so many perfect blends. They got some flash, they got some calm, they've got some guys been there, and they've got some guys that can get it done on the mound. Like, they have so many different facets where they don't have to rely on one or the other. And you know, first and third base, two pros that aren't flashy, that just flat out get it done, and then you've got some excitement in the outfield, some excitement in the middle of the infield. Your catchers are about as good as it gets. And so I think this team nationally, because when I go around, everybody talks about the national component of the Atlanta Braves. They're seeing the real deal. And that series in L.A. told you all you needed to know about whether a team that was about as hot as the Dodgers were came away feeling like they were second best.
What's this moment like right here, John, when you're getting ready to pop that champagne?
Well, for guys who's been there, done that, it's pretty cool because you get to experience it with guys who haven't. And look, I mean, there's very few moments in the game where you can, no pun intended, I can't let my hair down, but let your hair down and have a blast with no qualms or cares. And just for one moment, it rushes 150 days of hard work to like a finish line, not the ultimate finish line, but a goal. And you're doing it in somebody else's. You will be responsible for the cleanup fee, but you don't care at this moment, and you just have a whole lot of fun and take your time. The bus is usually in 20, 40 to an hour and a half. The bus will be take your time. You're going to be taking your time to get to the plane.
Well, we're going to watch the celebration continue, but 6 straight division titles. Real quick, folks, let's relive them all.
Fittingly, Acuna. Ball game. The Braves are back. National League East champions in 2018.
I'm very proud. I'm a Brave, and this is it's really special.
Shallow center. Acuna is there, and the Braves are the Eastern champs again.
Brian Snitker and his Braves have won the Eastern Division.
This is one of the best moments of my career.
It's a three-peat for the Braves. They're the champions of the East in 2020. Unbelievable accomplishment for the 2020 Braves, who will chop on into October. Against all odds, against all comers, the Braves are the champions of the National League East for the 4th straight year.
These guys have been behind us all year long. They've come out in droves. It's unbelievable to play here. It's a blessing and an honor to be able to represent Atlanta and be part of Braves country. It's awesome.
Ronald is there, and the Braves have won the East.
For the 5th year in a row, the Braves are champions of the National League East.
I'm so proud of this group. You know, where we were the 1st of June. They're all special. This is unbelievable.
Struck him out. The Braves Braves are the kings of the East yet again. 6 straight division crowns for Atlanta. Yet another National League East title. They're 6 in a row. It's their 23rd overall, which is the most in Major League Baseball history.